Hey, this is Louis D. Fresh bringing it to you on a Thursday morning. I hope you're doing well. I was just smiling because you can see my office from the on the left there. And that's my office computer, and this is my personal computer. And so we're going to do our little follow-up video before I head off to see a school. As you can see, my little tie. We're going to talk about the last 8 plants, and the reason I'm doing it on Thursday instead of Friday is because I have some air conditioning repairs I got to take care of tomorrow morning. So I said, let me take care of what I got to take care of, which is giving you part 2 of my office succulents. And I had to kind of angle the computer because there is a glare, so I hope that you can see that fairly well. The office succulents, you see there, people kind of, they like to have a little wildlife, as they say, in their office. And like I said, I have 16, what do you call those, succulents? And let me just quickly show you here. Remember the 16? Remember the one I told you? Let me see if I can blow it up without messing this up. Over here, that's the new one that I showed you on my social media this past Friday, I believe it was. And so again, showing you, these are the 16. And I'm a little crazy, so I kind of put 2 on each window. And so the first one in part 2 is the Flores Calancho. It does require bright filtered sunlight, which kind of works out here. It is filtered and a well-draining soil. And again, as I mentioned last time, I kind of like to take pictures from Google and see what they ideally should look like. This is kind of what you should be doing too with your tropical fish, seeing what they should look like, either pictures or videos, so you can get a better idea. And same thing with your colleges. Even though in a college will always show you the best possible angle, but at least it gives you an angle and you can see what really you're looking at, whether it be a tropical fish, whether it be your college, or whether it be your plant. So I got up here. This is the Flores Calancho. I have one over here and one over here. And again, because there's different angles, this one is the leaves are a little lighter because I believe it gets more sunlight. I will water them this morning, but I just want to show you again how the plants kind of lean towards the window. This is important too with indoor plants, especially if you live in a cold climate. This leaf is actually touching. You see, it's actually touching the window. So if you're in a cold climate, be aware of that. No matter how warm your house is, this is still going to be cold, the glass. So I want you to be aware of that and notice how it leans this way. So you may want to flip it, just kind of little tricks of the trade. Flip it this way. So now it's leaning the other way. So this way it can get all proper lighting on both sides, or you can kind of flip it over here. Whatever you want. So this way it gets even lighting. Number 2, the fairy washboard. This was also a replacement plant because the other 2 just, I don't know what happened. They died out. Like I said, every plant is not the same. The fairy washboard, again, I kind of like these pictures. I kind of flip through it. I spent some time putting these together because I want to see what different things can happen to the plant. I really want to see if this happens, that big old runner. And I have a feeling that is going to be a runner. Again, this is a picture of flowers, or if not, this is just a runner of different babies. So I really want to see if that happens to this plant, and you'll see that you can definitely get a number of plants within the same plant, but notice that that is a bigger pot. And it says here it needs plenty of sunlight, and this particular window it does. Thrives on dry soil and to water sparingly. In other words, very little. And again, this is the plant here. Notice I just noticed just right now there's new leaves coming out right there. Kind of nice, and I love the design. And again, the sunlight is fairly strong. This is the sunlight. Again, there's a shade here, but sunlight is pretty strong in the morning, and so it is really doing pretty well. And it is indeed dry to the touch. So I'm going to definitely give it some water this morning, since I won't be able to be here in the office tomorrow. This one is, I'm sure, will never really get to where it could be, which is like that. Or even that, because you see the leaves are changing a little bit. It's called the copper tone stone crop, obviously copper tone, as it were, copper, and needs well-drained soil and a sunny window. I don't think it gets enough sun. I can't lie. And it definitely produces a white flower white star flower, which I may get, but like I said, I'm hoping it gets to this point, but it'll never get to this point because I definitely don't get enough sunlight. The copper tone stone crop. However, with this one, you'll see here, there's a little better angle. That's kind of what people will see, but I'm giving you a closer view. I do put the leaves that do fall or die off. You see that they do fall or die off. Yeah, I think there's one there. I put them back in the soil. That's their fertilizer. And you can see even here, there's a baby and another baby. I just noticed it right now. Another baby growing out here. That is definitely fertile. Don't throw away your dead leaves. Put them back into the soil so it can decay and definitely become part of the plant and help fertilize your plant. All right, my next plant is the opalina. The opalina, you'll see here, water 1 or 2 times a week. I think that's kind of high for a succulent. Full sun for best results. And again, I'm keeping them indoors, so I guess it would get better results. Like I said, I took this picture from Google, and I kind of like it because it is outside, and you see how full and expansive. You see all the little babies there from all angles. So I definitely think is one of those that really do need a lot of sunlight. And you can see here, this is, I'm sure this is, again, another Google picture, but you notice lots and lots of babies and different coloring. And again, that's because it is definitely for full sun. However, I think it is doing pretty well right here. You can see, I moved it last week. You can see it's still trying to lean the other way. Notice how it grows there, very pretty. The leaves are very waxy. I kind of like that, very thick. So I think it's very pretty, very, very, very pretty. The design of this succulent. And again, I do use bottled water because the chlorinated water here in South Florida is pretty strong, and it will, in this case, will damage the plant. So this is the opalina, and I think it's looking very, very pretty. All right, 4 plants to go. We have the Lola Full Sun, which this definitely does not get full sun at all. It is cold tolerant. I thought that was kind of interesting because most of these are desert type plants. So up to 32 Fahrenheit, which is 0 Celsius, and water every 2 weeks. Again, the same scenario here. You'll notice how it has shoots runners, very nice and green, very light green. There's a reason why I'm saying that. Notice here the flowers, because it shoots upward, different colorings, even within the same plant. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And let me show you why. Show you from this angle here. You notice here remember South Florida, for those people who are kind of confused here what this is about. This is called a hurricane shutter, this brown thing here, and I have them over here as well. And there's one right there. The reason I'm showing that to you is because this is an office, and they're the ones who kind of adjusted or not adjust these hurricane shutters, and we don't have any control of them. So these hurricane shutters are here to prevent wind damage, God forbid, during a hurricane. And I can't move that, and yet this is why these 2 plants are struggling a little bit, because the light is not as strong as over here. But yet you see over here, I think it's doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. You see there's different babies growing over there and what have you. You see also some of the dead leaves on the very, very bottom. I leave those there. Remember, again, that's your fertilizer. But I think it's doing pretty well. Not as good as it could be because of the filtered light, but I still think doing fairly well. This is my the one that's struggling along the most, but yet it's struggling, but I think it's doing well enough where I'm not going to replace it. Because I've had it since mid-August, I would say, and I think it's doing well considering, because it is sensitive to humidity, and you should water every 14 days, and it is very cold tolerant, up to down to 14 Fahrenheit, which is minus something centigrade. So you see here how the bright colors, the chirpy, they're really kind of, really just kind of like a big old flower. And this ghost plant, really, it's more tricky. And we're looking at the picture, this app, it does say it's a kind of a tricky plant. But considering where I have it, I think it's doing okay. Could be better, but it's doing okay. Here she is, the ghost plant, again, giving some babies up here. It's a little droopy, I can't lie. I do have to water it, a little droopy, but I can't lie. You know, for considering the big old hurricane shutter is right there, it's doing fairly well. You know, it's a little droopy, but like I said, it's always been droopy, but fairly good. All things considered, this ghost plant. I didn't realize how many leaves are coming out there, so it looks good. Looks all right. The blue echeveria, it is drought tolerant. These plants, all these plants, are definitely drought tolerant, which is really why they're here. And they also relatively stay small, because like you see here in a small pot, it can stay. However, you can get a bigger pot and they can grow bigger. What I mean by bigger is more wider. They don't necessarily grow tall. Some of them may grow tall, but for the majority, they kind of stay small, and that's what makes them good house plants. They are drought tolerant. Avoid getting the leaves wet, which I think is kind of interesting, because sometimes I do try to wet the leaves. So I learned something there, and it does require full sun, which it does not get here. This is at the end of the this particular hurricane shutter, and again, that protects against the wind when they do have hurricanes, and we haven't had one, thank God, since 2017, and this is January of 2024. So what we have here, you see here how pretty it's growing. I really like it. The leaves on the bottom starting to dry out a little bit, but still, all in all, very nice plant. Growing amazingly, a lot of, because this is not really the growing season. It's the end of January. That would be winter time here in South Florida, but it's growing well. It's growing very well. I think nice and sturdy, and looks very happy. So there you go, the blue echeveria. And this is the last of my plants here. In the office, we have here the Silver Star. Water 1 to 3 weeks. Every 1 to 3 weeks, that's what I meant to say. Full sun, and is low maintenance, and I can't disagree. It is for sure very, very low maintenance, as you see. Very, very low maintenance. You see how pretty it is, and I think this is the prettiest. I don't want to say that too loud because the plants have ears, but the prettiest of my plants. Here she is, absolutely stunningly gorgeous. I mean, like, whew, gorgeous, waxy, beautiful, an amazing design. Just a spectacular looking plant. Look at that, just absolutely divine. I think it's actually it's gotten even prettier. It just so nice. So that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed it. That's it for the office plants, and that's really it. Just enjoy your wildlife. Enjoy everything around you. That's all I got. Louis D. Fresh.